Hello everyone, it is good to see you. A bit of news dropped moments ago, which is going to affect future models of the Switch 2. The Verge released an article stating that Nintendo is planning to launch versions of Switch 2 hardware in the EU that will let users easily replace the battery. This is to meet obligations from new EU regulations set to go into effect on February 18th of 2027. This will be affecting all kinds of handheld electronics. In 2023, the European Union agreed on 2 pieces of legislation mandating how portable tech products with batteries must be designed to improve longevity, repairability, and recyclability. The first regulation largely applies to smartphones and tablets that came into effect last year. The second regulation aims to broaden the reach to nearly every other piece of technology that has a battery inside. In short, it requires companies to create their products so that consumers can easily remove and replace their batteries, either with the use of basic tools or specialized tools provided with the product for free. Another rule is that compatible spare batteries have to be made available to purchase for, at minimum, 5 years. The exact definition of simple to replace is a little ambiguous, but it cannot be more complicated than removing a few standard screws. I think the new 3DS was the last product by Nintendo that made replacements very easy. There's a couple of small screws to remove from the back, and then the stylus itself has a small ridge that you can use to pry off the backing. I've replaced my own 3DS battery before, and it's a fairly painless process. Modern products are a bit more of a problem. Have you ever tried to open your Switch 2 to replace a battery? I have seen people have problems like expanding batteries that need replacing, or a charge that would sit at nearly full and then immediately dip to like 20%. The process that these people had to do in order to manually replace a battery with the current model, it's humorously complicated. So I went to the quick guide on iFixit, or at least I thought it was going to be quick. What you do is remove the 2 bottom screws on the bottom of the console. There's 1 screw on top, and then after that, once you remove your Joy-Con, the blue and red stickers, you need to heat those so that you can remove them and peel off the adhesive. Underneath are 2 more screws. And once you take that off, you want to open the kickstand, you want to remove the screws that are underneath, get a couple of picks to pry off the bottom, and once you've opened that, you have to very meticulously remove the antennas and screws and all these little parts and pieces very carefully. You have to take off the micro SD connector as well, and then remove the shield plate, take that off, remove the adhesive. There are so many steps to just simply remove the battery. It's like 35 steps in order to take that out. And then after you remove it, it's a whole other process just to put everything back together again. You have to get thermal putty and just to safely put everything back together again. It is such an unnecessarily long process. In the end, it only took about 64 steps. What? So not only will these Switch 2 models be safer, they'll cause a lot less headaches. These will be set to release next year just in the EU. Nintendo has not stated what about the internal design will change with this new version of the Switch 2 to make replacements easier. I feel like we won't exactly know until somebody either gets their hands on it or unless we find design docs somewhere. We usually have to find these out for ourselves. As of right now, it is unclear if this revised model is going to be available in other regions. It would definitely bring some peace of mind to know that if we have a faulty battery or if it starts to have a notably less potent charge, we can remove it in under 60 steps. Switch 2 batteries right now can be bought for about $23, so it's not too steep. The Switch 2 Pro controller and the Joy-Con that carry the same model number starting with BEE would presumably also be receiving a redesign as well. Nintendo has not stated any further updates as to whether or not these would also have easily replaceable batteries. Looking at how complicated it currently is to replace one, I imagine Nintendo is going to have to really rework the internal structure of the Switch 2 in order to make this possible. But in the end, this is all a positive outcome for the consumer. Will we see these models out of their region as well over time? Maybe we won't see this become the standard until a potential redesign years into the console's lifespan, like with the Switch 2 Pro. But I personally don't expect that anytime soon. We're still coming to terms with the fact that prices are going up for hardware everywhere right now. We'll see how this plays out by next year. But how about yourself? Are you still holding off on getting a Switch 2? Have you had the misfortune of needing to replace a battery in a 60-step process? I hope not. But that's all for this quick update here. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to GVG for news, discussions, and more. Take care of yourselves till we meet again.